Howdy folks, I am Ruskiel, and welcome back to Let's Play Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. In the last episode, we started our first class trial, and I already made a fool of myself. In this one, let's just continue the exact same thing. It probably has something to do with the knife we found under the table. We just got done answering a question about why he went under the table. Knife? Oh, you mean that thing that obviously screams, "I am the murder weapon"? Byakuya probably noticed the knife was hidden there. So, in order to get it, he moved under the table.
He was particularly sensitive to the presence of dangerous items, so I cannot deny that possibility. But how did he notice that there was a knife under the table?
If he knew beforehand, he probably would have done something about it before the blackout, right? Then, instead of knowing about it beforehand, maybe he saw it right at that moment? Like, for example, he might have seen someone trying to take the knife out from under the table. No, that's not possible.
What? You seem rather confident about that.
Of course, I have proof to back me up.
This is almost like a real trial.
During the previous statement, there was only one weak spot. But from this point on, there will be various weak spots standing in your way. No matter how many weak spots there will be only one lie or contradiction in the debate at that time. This means there will be false weak spots. If you shoot a false weak spot with a truth bullet, not only will you fail to refute what was said, but you will also lower your trust with everyone, and your influence gauge will take damage. If your influence gauge reaches zero, you will fail, so please be extra careful. I'm already ahead of you on that one. I'm already dying. You'll have to rely on your logic to determine which weak spots are actually lies or mistakes. Also, if you concentrate by holding the space key, you can progress the argument slowly. Please use it whenever you feel like the statements are moving too fast for you to aim. However, this does consume the focus gauge, so please be careful. If you press the escape key, during these arguments, you can review the controls. Good luck and have fun. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and just read them first time through. Knife. Wow, they already gave 5. Timer, goggles, knife, bloodstain, and gaps. Okay. I'm sure Byakuya ducked under the table during the blackout. That sounds correct. Nothing wrong with that. If that's the case, during the blackout, Mr. Hamhands must have seen the killer take the knife. But it was super pitch black. It was so dark I couldn't see my food. Byakuya couldn't see in the dark either, so this is where the goggles comes in. I doubt he could have seen the killer. Okay, so this is where the goggles comes in. It's true getting under the table during the blackout would have been nearly impossible, but alright, give me my night vision goggles. Let's speed this guy up using the control key as intended, or directed, I guess I should say. Super pitch black. Couldn't see his food. Byakuya couldn't see in the dark either. Ooh, man, God, that mouse is a lot more sensitive than I am used to. I may actually end up turning that down. No, Byakuya was probably the only one who was able to see in the dark. Why do you say that? If he was using those night vision goggles we found under the table, he could have seen what was happening. So, are you saying Byakuya was the one who used those night vision goggles? Yeah, that seems to be the case. Uh-oh. What? This is new. No, that's obviously wrong. It should be the other way around. Other way around? You're not Phoenix right now. Seriously, the killer used those night vision goggles, not Byakuya. Were you surprised by Mahiro's sudden argument? Just between you and me, I was also surprised. Just kidding. I'm sorry. Now then, when this kind of argument surfaces, you will go into a one-on-one debate called Rebuttal Showdown. In this mode, you have to counter the other person's claim, draw out their weak spots, and argue against them. Please counter the other person's remarks with the lost keys. Based on the shape of their remarks, it's important to know whether to cut vertically, sideways, or diagonally. And based on that, you can skew the debate's mood to your advantage. On the other hand, if you ignore the other person's remarks, it will skew toward their advantage. In the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, a number that shows the sharpness of your counter is displayed. This is the number of times you can cut remarks during one round of the debate. Okay. You will lose counts of sharpness even if you miss, so please be careful. When the mood skews to your advantage for a certain length of time, the other party's argument changes. This means the conversation will develop. If that happens, they will end up divulging some weak spots. However, you cannot normally cut remarks that contain weak spots. Instead, it will skew the mood toward the other party's advantage, plus it's going to be very big. Just like a regular debate, please refute any weak spots with the left mouse button. Okay, of course, if you don't have the correct truth blade, you will not be able to cut an opponent's remark. What's a truth blade? I'm terribly sorry, it appears there's been a delay in contacting you. I will make sure the person in charge of contacting you takes a very long vacation. In this mode, truth bullets will be called truth blades. That's about it. There won't be any other changes to your handbook menu. Only the name was changed, but don't you think a change in feeling is important? If you press the escape key during these arguments, you can review the controls. Well, then good luck and have fun. Before we get into this rebuttal showdown, I want to personally apologize for what you're about to bear witness to. Yes, it is that bad. Alright, this is different. Probably not going to go well. Alright, irons in the storage room, the knife in the duralumin case. I like the duralumin case pulled out already. Maybe I just... If you use common sense... The killer obviously used the night vision goggles. What's going on? That's gotta be it. I can't... If I'm just... What? I'm at a loss. I should let Mahira say what she wants to say and then find a point that I can argue against. If you just use common sense... The killer obviously used those night vision goggles. That's gotta be it. No? Okay. Okay. I gotta learn how this works. Okay, so it's gotta be... This one here. Oh! Oh god, that's gotta be it. I don't know. Where's your proof the killer used them? Because if they used the... Then they could have killed Yaki in the dark. What? I don't know what's going on! I don't know how to do this! I don't know! This is a disaster! Oh my god, I have no idea what's going on with that. That makes no sense to me. Oh, that's gonna be a nightmare to try to figure out. It just... Okay, wow, that is am I missing... I've gotta be missing something, like, basic. I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. No, Byakuya was definitely the one who brought those night vision goggles. Definitely? But why? Inside the duralumin case Byakuya had with him during the party, we found a smaller case for storing the night vision goggles. Which means he can assume that the night vision goggles were kept inside the duralumin case as well. Woohoo! I said assume! Ibuki never uses such clever language. Plus, Byakuya was the only one who could have taken the night vision goggles out of the case, since he was carrying it around before the blackout in the first place. I see. Well, when you put it like that, it makes sense. Then, was that knife inside the case too? If there were night vision goggles inside, it wouldn't be weird for a knife to be in there too. It would be weird. I am weird, aren't I? At times like this, I'd rather be fantasizing about tonight's main dish. You totally mean that in a perverted way. The knife was brought in the duralumin case along with the night vision goggles too? No, that's not possible. The knife was hidden in the dining hall before the party even started. I should be able to prove it with... Yeah, it looks like the duct tape. Yeah, duct tape, definitely. There was duct tape left under the table where the body was found.
Duct tape?
They probably hid the knife by duct taping it to the underside of the table. Oh, so that's why we found duct tape there.
Though Byakuya was thorough, even he couldn't have noticed the weapon taped to the underside of the table.
This may be off topic, but why was Byakuya acting so paranoid? Not only did he bring a self-defense kit, but he had night vision goggles inside the case too.
That's true. He went above and beyond being a little cautious.
Now that you mention it, that applies to the dangerous items he confiscated as well. It's one thing to be a little cautious, but performing a body check is a bit much.
He probably knew someone was planning to commit a murder. Are you saying he predicted the murder? Could it be? Was he also in possession of the all-seeing eye? You think so too, right, Hajime?
That's right, Byakuya probably knew there was a possibility that murder would occur because of the note he got. That's pretty straightforward. Boom. Alright. So, I hope the, I hope the blade fighting thing, I hope there's not too much of that. That still got me rattled. Everyone, can you please take a look at this? And it just basically says what's on there. It's a threat saying someone's gonna go,
Hey, the hell is this?
Hajime and I found this in Byakuya's cottage. It looks like a threatening letter someone sent to him. So, who's the someone? Nobody besides Monokuma would write such a dumb, threatening letter like that. Oops.
Wasn't me.
Are you sure?
The only lies I tell are friendly lies.
Those are still lies! Your hands are free, why don't you just slip out? It doesn't matter who wrote it yet. So, Byakuya became paranoid because of this threatening letter.
He probably decided to throw a party because of the letter.
What do you mean?
By gathering everyone in one place, he tried to create a situation where everyone could keep tabs on each other. In doing so, he tried to put the writer of the letter in a situation where they couldn't act.
But the letter might have just been a little prank.
As long as he was determined not to let any of us die, he couldn't take the risk. His strong sense of responsibility made him believe the letter was legitimate.
He should have told us he received a threatening letter.
Well, if he had, we would have panicked. Byakuya probably knew that too.
So, he tried to do something about it without telling anyone. I see. His strong sense of responsibility as our leader was his undoing. Screw that noise! Who the hell wrote that letter? But obviously, the killer... The killer. Uh-oh. Something is automatic here. Is it really one of us? Who is it? Among us, who's the one who killed Byakuya?
Enough already! Show yourself, you coward!
If they were willing to come forward, they never would have committed murder in the first place. But I still can't believe it. Someone in this room killed Byakuya. There's no way I can believe that yet. Pardon me. Can I say something, please?
What is it, Miss Sonia?
I regret that I must return to this topic, but I just realized something concerning the night vision goggles. If Byakuya was indeed wearing those goggles, how did the killer manage to navigate in the dark?
You're right. They wouldn't have been able to see anything without the night vision goggles. But if the murderer had the goggles when they took the knife, then how did Byakuya see them?
Even if the knife bore some sort of mark, it would have been difficult to see it in that darkness.
No, the killer definitely used a mark. And because of this mark, the killer was able to get the knife from under the table into his hands. I would say the glowing paint. Makes the most sense. Alright, and we are at just about time. So, in the next one, we'll continue the class trial, talk about how the killer was able to see and navigate in the dark. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Farewell.